Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mornings with Mayesh. I'm Yvonne Ashton, and I'm delighted you've joined us today for what promises to be an inspiring conversation about growth, creativity, and the power of continuing education in the floral industry. Today, my guest is Kristen Pulcheon, the Executive Director of Fiori Florals Design Studio in Central Ohio. In just over 4 years since launching in January 2020, Kristen has built a remarkable business that now executes nearly $2 million in events annually. Wow. Kristen brings 20 years of experience in the wedding and special events industry, having started her journey in luxury bridal fashion before moving to event venues and finally discovering her true passion in floral design. Beyond her impressive professional achievements, Kristen is also a mother of three and will soon be walking down the aisle herself as a bride this month. Today, we'll be exploring the vital role of continuing education in the floral field and how it has impacted Kristen's team at Fiori. She'll share insights on building a culture of learning, adapting changes, and nurturing both technical skills and creative vision. Kristen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're so excited to learn from your experience and hear about the educational approaches that have contributed to your studio's success. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was such an intro.
Yeah, and also,
awesome. So excited to be here.
Yes, and we can't go on without just saying congratulations on your upcoming wedding. That's so
Thank
exciting.
you. Yeah.
And then just a little backstory for everyone that is listening and watching or might be listening to the replay later. Um, you just came onto my radar because last year we had our workshop and, Kristen obviously is in Ohio, so she wanted to buy tickets for her team for our workshop in Cleveland. And it was quite a few tickets. I don't remember how many, but it was
It's like 10.
Yeah, 10 tickets.
Yeah.
Guys, like when you're selling a workshop and someone says, I want to buy 10 tickets, that like literally makes your year because you're like, it's so stressful selling tickets for education or anything. It's stressful, as we all know. So that was amazing. And we were so appreciative. And I was like, wow, that's so cool that she did that. And then this year, we roll out our new workshop with Sue. And we get the email again from our branch saying, hey, it's Kristen again. And she wants to bring her whole team again. And I was like, what? And again, so exciting. And that was like, it just clicked. It should have clicked last year, but sometimes I'm a little slow. But I was like, I really need to talk to this woman. And I really want to share her story on Mornings with Mayesh because this is an anomaly. This is, again, we have businesses that will bring like a couple people or, sometimes a handful, but nothing like the size that you do, Kristen. So again, I'm so excited to dive into that and talk about that a little bit. But for everyone that's watching, that's kind of how this happened. So very, very cool.
Thank you. Yeah. Please never stop having these courses. We will be there every year. We love them. So
I love it.
Big fans over here.
Yes. So before we get into education and workshops and things like that, let's talk a little bit about your personal journey. You kind of started in luxury bridal fashion, you got into event venues, and then you found your true love in floral design. So can you tell us more about that journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So I started, we were chatting before this started, and you just feel like, woof, that's a lot of years that passed, and you don't quite realize how quickly it has happened.
Yes.
But I did, fall in love with the bridal fashion. My background is actually in history of art, so I really enjoyed seeing how a dress could truly transform. You think about like paintings we would learn about in school, and I would think about like, why is that dog in that location? What impact does it have? And that's kind of the inspiration I took into every single dress that I would sell. Like, how does this change the moment that they're in? What does their environment say? How do they speak? And it got me hooked. I absolutely love it. I believe strongly, especially with the special events industry, like you either love it and it's right for you and you're going to be in it for the rest of your life, or like you like dip a toe and you're like, oof, I got to stay away from it. So I'm one of those people that just found my way into it and loved it ever since. So I have I was in bridal fashion for years and years and years, and over time, I kind of hit my ceiling within the role that I was in. And aside from purchasing the company I was with, and from the current owner, there wasn't much more I could expand and do. Uh, that led me to really, what did I love about it? And it was kind of putting all those pieces together, and using a little bit of that sales background and the business acumen. And it led me over to the event venue side of things. And this is where I was able to work a little bit more in depth with families, and really bringing that full story together. And what does this space need to what do we need to do within that space to tell the story, and still kind of keeping that art aspect to things. Over time, the venue I was with here in Columbus, we always had centerpieces and floral services as part of packages that we'd work with other florists for. And I, never felt 100% confident with what was being delivered. Not that it wasn't beautiful, it's just the way that their business was set up. It wasn't in order to, it was difficult to accommodate for the client. It was difficult to make sure that they were getting everything that we felt as a company they should get from an outside party. So that is where the dream of Fiori came from. It was to solve this problem that we were seeing and to provide this great service. And here we are, 5 years later. It's just kind of a wonky little journey, but it's always had a little bit of art, a little bit of business, a little bit of sales, and a lot of love for the wedding world. So that's where
I
we're
love
at.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
So obviously you guys launched in 2020. You've had impressive growth, again, nearly 2 million in events annually, which is really
Yeah.
great. Do you have any tips for our viewers on kind of how to scale the business?
Yeah, absolutely. First tip is don't start a business in COVID. That was rough.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I could go back and if we could change one thing, it would probably be the timing. But what can you do? You learn, you grow.
Yeah,
But wow, what a
exactly.
way to be introduced to the cost of flowers when the market was so volatile.
Right.
Um, but in terms of growth, I would say the biggest advice I could give, or the thing that I can contribute the most success to, is consistency. And it's staying consistent across the board with everything. It's doing all of the every single day, tracking your numbers, monitoring your margins, making sure you understand your business and the number side of your business inside and out, so it can become repeatable. There's so many great florists that are here, and so many of them can start out by making these beautiful arrangements as these artists, and then all of a sudden they kind of fell into having a business, and then they hire someone, and then it's like, oh, I don't quite have the training to know what to do with this other person, or I just had to cover my margins, but it was just me. Like, I'm not paying me as much as I could or should. So really understanding and staying consistent with doing those less glamorous tasks throughout the week, they add up. They allow you to make great business choices and really drive your business in the right direction. And then staying consistent with what you believe your culture is within your employees. We have a saying here where accountability is caring. So I care about you, so I'm going to hold you accountable, and you care about me, so you're going to hold me accountable. And it's part of our culture, and it truly is. So we are consistent with that. We're consistent with a culture of team first mentality, and making sure that we are leading each other by a good example, and being the people that we want to show up to work with, kind of putting your best foot forward at work. So consistency with your team, with your coworkers, and lastly, consistency with your clients, making sure that if you are going to promise them something, you are delivering on that promise. And if you're going to tell them, hey, it's going to take me 3 days to work through this proposal, deliver it in 2. Be consistent, show up for them time and time again, and make sure that you're not wavering on that discipline and that dedication. And then the business, it just keeps going.
I love that. And I love accountability is caring. I wrote that
Yeah.
down. I'm going to start using that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it really is caring for someone. You're caring that they do what they say they're going to do, and you care for them so much that you want them to do that. And that's what I believe in, and that's what our team believes in.
That is great. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit into education. Can you share
Okay.
what your philosophy is regarding continuing education for you and your team?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Kind of little basic, but just staying curious. And kind of the root of all education is making sure that you're curious to get it to begin with. So, a lot of what we try and bring into our company is, hey, are you guys interested into this? As we're talking, like, what interests you? Like, how can we pique your curious? Because if they are curious about learning a technique, a style, anything within this industry, whether even the back end, learning the business side of things and knowing a little bit more about that, that really helps them to expand and to grow because you've got them excited about it. And then if the team's excited, they're going to absorb it a lot better. So starting off with that curiosity and never like pushing it down, always making sure that you're like encouraging it and trying to get that flame to grow. Um, that's kind of where we start with it. And then past that, I think that this industry changes so much so quickly. Every day there's a new technique you can learn. Every day there's something that's coming down the pipeline. And just if you aren't investing in education for your team, you are going to miss out on future clients and you're going to miss out on potential great employees who maybe aren't in a situation where they can access that type of education, and they may have this great skill set but not quite ready to, they don't have the ability to go out and get these tools, and they're just not ready to have that yet. So we want to make sure that we always have a place where people can come here, they can learn, they can grow, we can encourage it, we can have a library of books where they're able to do basic reading on and see different techniques that are beautiful and laid out, and we're utilizing different people, whether it's the classes up at MASH, we're utilizing different florists within the region. Like if someone's good at something, I'm going to ask them to show us how they do it, because it's just nice to see. And
Yeah.
then making sure your leadership team and you're not missing out on that business aspect and those educational moments that are maybe outside of the floral stems.
Very cool. So you mentioned you have a library of books for people to borrow?
Okay, so library sounds huge. I should probably say like it's a small amount, but it is still an amount, and we have invested in like continue to grab things. So we do have books that are available. We do encourage like our team to use them if they are working with a client, to work through Amy's color theory and make sure that they're like pulling in these different techniques that they've learned about in
Right.
order to provide the best service to the clients and to be the best florist that they can be and best designer.
I love that. Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite book by any chance? Am I putting you on the spot? It's okay if you
You
can't
are
think of
putting me
one.
on the
Yeah.
spot. No, no, you totally are. I mean, full disclosure, Sue's book has been in heavy rotation over here over the last couple of weeks. So
Amazing.
we all have our copies. So that's been kind of fun to hang out to.
Very cool. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Good stuff. So what specific continuing education opportunities have been the most valuable for you and your team? And how do you determine which educational investments will have the greatest impact?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, it's easy to say, but we've done two classes with MASH now, and when you think about the investment, it's not just the physical cost of the class for, as 10 people. It is actually taking our studio offline. It's creating altering our production schedule, our delivery schedule. It is making sure, we are 2 hours away from our closest MASH. So it's making sure that we are prepared for that drive, the drive back. There's a lot that goes into that investment outside of the initial cost for the class. However, what I know we're going to take away is I'm going to have 10 really inspired florists coming back here to the studio. And we are going to utilize techniques that will save us down the road. Good example of this, we went and did the bouquet boot camp class, a couple years ago, and um, everyone on my team knew how to make a bouquet. They all came in, they're great florists, they great designers. They walk in, they make a bouquet, and Amy's like, "We're going to spiral this." And no one on my team was doing spirals, and we learned how to do it. And it has been something we've utilized. It now takes, if you have 25 bouquets that you're working on, it takes away the burnout factor that can occur by doing that repetition over and over again, because it makes it so it's this effortless technique that we're just slowly encouraging our team to do. So now we use
Right.
spiral all the time.
That's
Um,
amazing.
when you think about it, she blew my mind when she's like, "Oh, just spiral, and this is how you're going to do your installations." And I was like, "Oh my God, we're going to use that there." And now you're like, okay, we can think about things a little bit differently. It takes away, it saves you on labor. It saves you on burnout for your team. It just really like helps. So that investment has paid in full. We have seen so much out of it. We use it every single day. And I expect the same with Sue. So it's been a really fun thing to watch the team take these techniques and utilize them. So those have been great. We love them, and we've done other classes. We've traveled around in Ohio. We've seen some different florists. We've done some visits to different studios. Had different florists teach us. We have a florist friend who's awesome, and she's an amazing designer down in Southeast Ohio. And her passion is foraging and how can you use these forage blooms. And so we worked with her on how to do that, and then how does
Right.
she create installations from it. So it's the MASH classes, you can't beat them, but you always got to look for different opportunities for your team to be able to, like, everyone's going to be inspired for something. Try and give them as many opportunities to grab onto that inspiration. And if they take 1 to 2 things away, like, we've killed it. That was a great class.
That's so amazing. And again,
Yeah.
I knew that you came to ours, but it's just, again, amazing to hear that you are always looking for other opportunities, and just seeing like, okay, what other skill do we need or what can we learn about? And I think that's just freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks.
yeah, for everyone that's listening live, I know it's a little crazy week because Mother's Day is coming up. So for those of you that are listening live, thank you so much. But if you are listening, because we've got a handful over on Instagram, um, let me know, like, what do you think about education? Is this something that you do? Do you invest in? If you have your own company, do you invest in your team? And maybe this will change your mind if you haven't done that. Then that's kind of where I'm at. I want to help spread this this philosophy that Kristen has and has obviously really um, enveloped in her company. So I think that's amazing. Um, let's see. I have someone asking on Instagram if do you know the name of the designer in Southeast Ohio? Off the top of your head, they would love to follow her if you know
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. It is Passiflora Studios. So, Caroline, if you're listening, hey,
Passiflower
Passiflora.
Flora. Okay.
Yep.
Design Studios. Okay. So I'll also find them on Instagram and I'll share that in my show notes as well. So that way you guys can
Awesome.
get the link for Passiflora. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question for you, Kristen, is
Mhm.
and it's a little bit different than what we talked about. Obviously, for your team, you're thinking about design and creativity. Do you do things for yourself as a business owner or like the business people in your company?
Yeah. So we actually operate off of a system called EOS, which stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. It is actually an amazing tool for every small business to be able to use. It allows everyone in your organization, regardless of their educational background, to quickly gain some some business acumen and to be able to actually speak all the same language. So this is something that we've invested in. It is something that we practice regularly. It's really been a game changer for our company. It allows us to all just row in the same direction. It keeps everyone kind of aligned, everything from core values to, tracking your metrics. So it's a phenomenal thing. I couldn't recommend it enough. If anyone is managing a team of 3 people, if you're managing a team of one person, like 20
Right.
people, 40, like it's worth looking into and giving a shot.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, in an industry that blends artistic creativity with practical business skills, how do you balance technical training with creative development in your team members? Or is that something that you think about, or not? You just
Yeah.
kind of go with kind of what you can find.
Uh, no, we actually do think about it quite a bit. I think the basis of being able to be creatively free is to have that technical backdrop or background. You can't, and there are exceptions to this rule. Don't get me wrong here. There are definitely people who can pull off the most creative thing and it's technically going to work out. But usually that's a like long shot. They're aiming for, the stars and they've just landed that in terms of the design. So having the technical, everything down to the proper amount of chicken wire to use when you're basing out your mechanics and really understanding how these things are going to impact your design then allows your team to become creatively free and allows them to play and become inspired by the product. But if you are lacking those technical, like fundamentals, it's never going to work out, or it may work out, but it's not sustainable and it's not going to last. So actually my right hand here at Fiori, Katrina, who couldn't do this without her by any means. She's actually Best in Bloom star. So she is one, which is super exciting there.
Amazing.
She has, her background is in formal floral training and she graduated with a degree. And so she brings that knowledge to our team in a way that is incredibly beneficial. So she is our educational resource when it comes down to learning. If we see something that we're inspired by and we want to learn how are we going to do this, and maybe we've sold this concept to a client and we want to practice it before their event, she's going to be the one that really takes and learns how to do this, figures out that back end technique, orders then product for our team to then do additional education time outside of our traditional like studio design time. So our education, it really does transfer throughout every aspect of Fiori. It's not just these classes or these one-offs. It's our philosophy. It's our go-to. It's making sure that our team feels confident in what they're designing. They feel confident in knowing they have the skills to design anything that, our creative minds throw at them, and we can expand from there.
Very good. I know you shared the spiral bouquet example. Do you have any other examples of how kind of the educational experience has transformed a team member's work or approach to design?
Yeah, very recent. So 2 weeks ago, we went and we did the sculpting with blooms class. A week later, actually, we were in there is the Franklin Park Conservatory. So it's a botanical gardens here in Columbus. They do a fashion show with wearable florals, and it is their biggest fundraiser of the year. And it's this huge event, 350 people, and we came a week later into it. So of course, we were going to take some techniques that we learned and be able to transfer those over. Of all the florists that were there were some of the like coolest designs. There were some just really epic, unique designs. Everyone got super creative on it. We were actually the only ones who didn't use an existing headpiece. We were the only ones who used solely the wire. We were the only people that didn't just say like, here's a fascinator, we're going to add to it, or here's a hat, we're going to add to it. And
Right.
that was really cool to see that those technical skills playing out in real time and watching our model be able to bound around, not feeling the weight of this piece, but still having this huge impact. So it just happened. I mean, this was 1 week to the next week and it was already in play. And we're like, this is really cool. This is great to see this playing out like that. So
That's
it
so
was awesome.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
it.
It was really, really neat. So
Very cool. So for those who are watching or listening, Kristen brought up the Sculpting with Blooms workshop that we are hosting with Sue McCleary at several locations across the country. We've sold out quite a few cities already. So I wouldn't delay in checking that out. I put the link in the comments. I will, and for those of you, it's like kind of a wonky, big, long link. So you just go to mayesh.com and you can find it very easily. We have it on our homepage and on our education tab too. So you guys can check that out when you have a chance. But I love that story. That's amazing. And I know Sue's gonna love to hear that story too.
yeah,
And I
we
want to
had
see
some.
pictures. I want to see.
Oh, I'll send you pictures. It was pretty great. We had several people go to Derby Hat Days who are on the team who created their own wearables that day. We had one of our team members, her daughter had like a father-daughter dance, and her corsage was of course like epic with floating blooms, and we're like, this is so fun. Like,
Yeah.
we'll use it for everything. That's one of those skills. It's like the spiral. We won't stop using it now that we know. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
All right. So looking ahead, what emerging skills or knowledge areas do you believe will be essential for floral professionals to develop in the next few years? Just talking in general in our industry.
Yeah. This is a really great question. And it is, it's funny because our industry has changed so rapidly. I feel like there's a lot that is very different than just when I got into the floral specific side of things, only
Right.
5 years ago. So what skills will we need? That's There's probably a lot. And there's probably a lot I'm not thinking of. I think understanding, putting an emphasis on sustainability across the board needs to be something that a lot of our floral friends need to put in the forefront if they haven't already. It is something that you look at the generation who is booking events and who's booking weddings. If you're an event florist, this is something that should be highly sought after in terms of a skill, and something that you want to focus on in terms of making sure that you understand it and you can deliver on it, because this is what the next generation is looking for out of their florist, and this will set you apart opposed to someone else. So sustainability, I can't think it's a bigger need right now than
Right.
other things. I think understanding your business. Like I said earlier, I think there are a lot of really amazing florists here that I'm so inspired by on a daily basis, and who sometimes just fall into the business side of things. So taking that time and actually understanding, how does your business operate? What are your business needs? What is your long-term goal and growth plan for your company? And where is your vision taking you? I know you want to make great flowers. What does that mean? At the end of the day, it's still a business, and you're still feeding your family, putting a roof over your head. Making sure you don't leave those skills behind is so
Right.
important right now, for your own just future safety, and making sure you're taken care of. So sustainability and making sure you understand the business side of things is crucial for the next couple of years. So those are my
I
big
love
two.
it. I love it. Speaking of sustainability, are there things that
Mhm.
you kind of use and implement in your own company to start taking those steps? I know
Yeah.
it's a big ask, and it's very overwhelming when you kind of think about it, and just
Yeah.
as the earth is a total and we're just one little kind of speck of dust on it. But combined effort really can make a big impact. And I know we
Yeah.
we've been trying to have that conversation. We had a whole year kind of just focused on that
Yeah,
alone. And that was really great. We had some really great conversations, but yeah, I would love to hear like
sure.
anything that you wanted to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm with you. We will spend time in meetings talking about like, yes, we're going to be sustainable. And then you're like, oof, we can't do that tomorrow. So hold on, what can we do today and what little impacts can we make? Because again, if we're consistent and we keep doing it over and over again, we add to that, we're going to continue to grow in our sustainability.
Right.
Ultimately with that goal of becoming truly foam free across the board for everything. So we're big chicken wire fans. I don't know, everyone is. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's always the easy go-to. But one of the things we did, it actually has nothing to do with florals, but every florist is also candles are your like next big thing, right? It's your other cost of goods.
Hmm.
So we actually switched the majority of our pillar candles, and we use a product called Photon, and it is reusable. And so now we've cut down on our waste for just that one thing. So we're trying to implement and do these little swaps over and over again that can long term add a big and create a big impact for us. Can we use different styles of trays that maybe are a little bit deeper for our aisle pieces? Having base attachments for our arbors, and you really have to think outside of the box and test it a heck of a lot of times before it lands at an actual event where everything could go wrong. And so, yeah, we just keep trying. We
Yeah.
keep, oh, hey, let's try this. Let's see if this works. We've tried every possible reusable foam that there is. We've tried every time there's new product, we're like, sign us up, let us test it out. Let us see if this is going to be what works for our business and our scale of our business too.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Can you share the name of the reusable candles that you mentioned?
Yeah, so remember how we were talking about how bad you and I are at saying names and things?
Yeah.
This is one of the ones
Okay.
that I'm like terrible at saying. So it's, and I'm sure if my team is listening, they're like laughing at me right now on this one. It's Photon, Foton.
Foton. Okay. All
Yes,
right. Got
yes,
it.
but it becomes reusable. They look amazing. They've been great, and there's a great color line. So it's been a really nice swap for us. And we also reduce our labor. No more cleaning wax off candles. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing in itself.
that's huge. Yes, yes, that was
Yeah.
big.
So I'll try and find the link to those candles too and include those in our show notes. That'll be up on the blog once I post the replay for you guys, just so you know. Kristen, I have a comment on Instagram, events by Chrissy. And it's nothing to do with what we're talking about, but they want to know what is the background? Is it a wallpaper or painting behind you? Because they love
Yeah.
it and they need it.
Oh my God, I love that. Yes. So this actually was a custom wallpaper that we had one of our neighbors do, and it's just a wallpaper, and she kind of created a couple different designs for it, and yeah, we're into big funky wallpapers all over the place. So
It's
thanks.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And let me see. We had another comment earlier just to share that we have someone listening and watching from Seattle, Washington, and they're not a designer, they just love flowers and love art and structure. So they're here too. So welcome everyone.
Love that.
Yeah, me too. Um so I feel like you touched on this a tiny bit. So if this is redundant, you just let me know. But you talked about how, you started 5 years ago in the floral
Yeah.
industry, and things have changed very quickly. Is there anything that you kind of point out that have changed since you've begun in the floral industry? It's not like
Yeah.
it's been like we were talking about me. I've been with Mayesh for like about 16 years, but
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I think one of the biggest things I can point out is just general transparency between businesses in terms of our industry, and making sure that we're sharing awareness of proper pricing and what your margins for your region and your area should look like if you want to have a successful and profitable business. And this information hasn't always been accessible, or it's been a little bit gatekept by each business and a little less of that community atmosphere. And the floral industry is really coming together and supporting each other. And every time you see someone come out and say, hey, this arch costs X, you see nothing but other florists like, yes, it does. Good job. Like, thank you for putting that out there. Like, that is what it should cost. And I think the more we support each other in doing that, the easier time we're all going to have with clients coming in and understanding. You know, we're all fighting the Pinterest battle of,
Yeah,
I want this. And you're like, okay, but your budget says this. So which one do we
exactly.
want to change?
Yeah.
So it's been the transparency in the industry between other designers and business owners has been awesome to witness. And then the availability of product has just, now granted, again, we started during COVID, so this is when like a playa was like $5 and you're like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. But the availability of product that we have access to through companies like MASH, and being able to see all of this really incredible product that is available almost year round now, versus a couple years ago when we didn't have access to, you know, the Japanese markets, and we didn't, you know, now you're seeing things come in and you no longer have to, yes, you worry about you know, seasonality, but it's expanded. Your seasons are longer, and that's been really cool to be able to see, just the availability of product that we have working with companies like yours.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so, you know, you're a business owner and soon to be bride yourself. How has your personal perspective on the wedding experience influenced your business, or has it at all? Because, you know, I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know that it's influenced it. Maybe it has, and I'm just too close to it right now. We're like 2 weeks out from today, so
Yeah.
we're real close. So maybe it has, and if you were to ask me this question in like 4 weeks, I'd be like, oh, this is the answer.
Right.
Um, I do think that my personal approach, you know, knowing my background between multiple aspects as a vendor of multiple aspects of the special events industry, I approach it kind of in a kindness over everything, making sure that when you are working with a vendor, you understand that they have put the pressure on themselves because they are leading with a servant heart, and they want to make sure that they are delivering the best possible day to each client. All it takes is to be just kind to your vendors. All it takes is to trust what they're doing is best. The trust, when a client says like, hey, we trust you to deliver on what you know is best, that is always like, you feel like you've won at that point with the client and you've struck gold with them. So making sure that I'm doing that same thing that I believe in with my clients, that I'm doing to my own vendors, that's probably where it's impacted the most. So, and hopefully the rest of my team. I mean, I get great compliments of them when I'm not around. I couldn't speak higher. Like, I love my team. I have a great team of people that have surrounded us and have built Fiori and are here, and they get great compliments, you know, when they're out on site. And so I think just that kindness amongst people within this industry and just the collaboration is something that I hope has impacted the rest of my team and continues to carry on.
I love that. If you guys want to connect with Kristen and her team on Instagram, it's fiori.florals. I put the link in the comments. Obviously, I didn't do that in Instagram because, you know, Instagram doesn't like links. And then also her website is fioriflorals.biz. Before I let you go though, Kristen, you are getting married and I would love to hear like what do you have planned for the flowers? Like what's your color
Yeah.
palette? What's gonna look like? Can you give us
Yeah,
a
sure.
preview without spoiling anything?
No, it's good. So I'm a Virgo true and true. I am marrying a Virgo true and true. So we both like very earthy, lots of moss, lots of greenery, lots of different textural blooms. So our color palette is some blues, some darker greens, browns, yellows, a lot of texture, kind of fun. My kids call it the Parent Trap Wedding because it's out on this property that has all these different cabins and things, and that's their favorite movie. So we've
Yeah.
turned this into like Parent Trap theme. So if you call that something, that's where we're living. So
I love it.
outdoorsy.
I can't wait to see pictures because you'll
Yeah,
be sharing on Instagram, right?
we will. Yes, we will for sure.
Amazing. Good, good, good. Well, Kristen, it was so, so nice having you on here chatting
Yeah, thank you so
about
much.
yourself, your business, your education philosophy, your business philosophies. It's been really amazing just hearing those thoughts from you. So thank you for coming on and sharing that because I know it can be a little nerve-wracking if you're not used to kind of speaking on those things publicly. So I appreciate that.
No, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. It's been so great to meet you and to chat. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has about how to grow the business and how to support the team. That's my biggest role here.
I love it. I love it. And you guys, don't forget, do you remember? Accountability is caring. So make
Yes.
sure you carry that with you after this show and long time after, because I know I will. But
Yes.
anyhow, thank you so much, Kristen. Thank
Yes,
you
thank
guys
you.
for everyone that's watching and listening live or to the replay. We so appreciate you. And that's a wrap on today's Mornings with Mayesh. If you are looking for hands-on education opportunities, again, we still have some seats left for our workshop with Susan McCleary called Sculpting with Blooms, where you're going to learn new design mechanics for creating wearables and bouquets. It's really an amazing class, guys. So just visit mayesh.com for more information. And I'm on a roll, guys, because last week I was live. This week I'm live, and I'm live next week on my birthday, by the way. I will be here. I'm bringing on our VP of Sales, Charity Weinshank, or if you go by her email, that has not changed yet. It's Charity Real. And we're going to just be talking about sales and fun stuff. So it should be pretty cool. So make sure you join us for that next week on Wednesday. I believe we're going live at noon. And again, thank you again for spending part of your morning with us. And be sure to join our email list so you never miss out on anything, whether we're going live or deals or just our new education that we have going on. It's info.mayesh.com. And again, you just go to mayesh.com, click the subscribe link, and then you're in. So I will see you guys next week. And again, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.